the loyal best friend, the glue and the heart of the Golden Trio that is none other than Ron Weasley. Just like Hermione Granger, Ron Weasley is quite different in J.K. Rowling's books, apart from the movies. So in this video, we're going to be comparing his character from the books and the movies. And let's see how his character changes from page to screen. Starting with point number 1, appearance. We know that Ron Weasley is tall, freckly, with flaming red hair. But in the movies, they kept the flaming red hair and the freckles to a certain extent. But the tall, awkward growth, of his height was only shown later in the movies, but it was quite fast in the books. Nevertheless, still, Rupert Grint did a really good job in portraying Ron Weasley, and I don't think nobody else can portray that role of Ron Weasley more perfect than Rupert Grint. So there's not much difference in his appearance. Point number 2, we have role in the Golden Trio. So Book Ron was actually the glue of the Golden Trio. Determined, fiercely loyal, and extremely brave. He balances Harry's recklessness and Hermione's logic. So Book Ron was quite, the scruffy, charming character. But in the movies, his role was reduced to a side character and he was used as a comic relief more than an integral part of the trio. So most of the time, he's only just playing as a comedian instead of an actual part of the Golden Trio. He was like a sidekick to Harry Potter. So his role was quite reduced in the movies, and most of his achievements and feats were not that much, brought to light in the movies, unlike the books. Point number 3, we have intelligence and strategy. Do you remember the Wizard's Chess and the Philosopher's Stone? You've seen that Book Ron is a brilliant strategist, and he showcases the skills of tactical thinking and strategical, mindset in many situations like battlefield, Quidditch, and a lot of them. But most of these moments in the books were actually cut out from the movies or handed over to Hermione, making Ron seem less capable. So that was quite disappointing for the book readers. Point number 4, we have humor and personality. So in the books, we know that Ron's humor is sharp, sarcastic, and really witty. But in the movies, his wit was replaced by goofy jokes and slapsticks, making him the clown of the group. So it's not like he's a clown. He was just like the light in the dark times, And his wit was actually a bit more brighter instead of those lame jokes which sometimes were made in the movies, So these humorous moments were cut out from the movies and they were not that shown, The movies were shown straight away dark themed and all, but actually there was both light and dark in the books, so it was balancing. And talking about the personality of Ron was really logical in thinking, unlike Hermione, who's always practical about everything and sometimes could be emotionally vulnerable. But still, Ron would think and he wouldn't lose his head in a crisis. So he's got that sense. Point number 5, we have bravery and loyalty. So in the books, Ron always faces his fears head on. Whether it's a room full of spiders or Death Eaters, Ron always stands by Harry and Hermione and always takes their side. He would do anything for them and he always stands up for the Golden Trio. And he never backs off from his loyalty. A brilliant example of this point is in the book of The Prisoner of Azkaban, where he actually stood up for Harry and literally shielded him from a criminal, a blamed criminal, Sirius Black, saying that he should kill him first before killing Harry. So he was actually really brave and he mustered up the courage to stand up in front of Sirius. And he knew that Sirius is capable of murdering them in just a blink of an eye, but yet he was really courageous and he was really brave. And he stood up for his friends. So that shows that he's really loyal. So all these moments were kind of mixed up cut out and handed over to other characters, and this moment was actually handed over to Hermione. So this made him look more cowardly, okay, making him like, you know, this person who would back off if there's any danger in front of him, though they always act like they could do anything. No, Ron was not like that. So this was another disappointment for the book readers. Point number 6, we have insecurities and depth. So one of the most powerful parts of Ron's character is his insecurity, and being the 6th child in his family, overshadowed by his brilliant brothers, his brilliant siblings, by Harry's fame, by Hermione's intelligence, he faces feelings of immense inferiority and insecurity. But the movies kind of cut out this part, and that makes Ron, okay, his character, lose his emotional depth, okay? In the movies, he was not shown much human. Humanness, I'm not saying that he's not that kind. No, human means it's something different. Means he's not shown like he's close to reality. No, in the books he was quite close to reality. He was having emotional depth, emotional vulnerability, just like Hermione Granger. But the emotional depth of his character was not that shown in the movies, and the movies kind of skimmed over this part, and it was less human. In the books, Ron Weasley loses his Quidditch arc. That brings to point number 7, that is Quidditch arc missing. So Ron actually developed himself, and his entire side of growth was cut out from the movies. That is him becoming the Gryffindor keeper. He kind of overcame his insecurity, kind of gained that, you know, trust from Harry that he could do this, and his triumph in the matches, in the Quidditch matches in the 5th book, Order of the Phoenix, that showcased his capability in the Quidditch matches and in the entire field of Quidditch. Okay, and that also enhanced his confidence in himself, okay, when he was actually battling with his insecurity, just like I told in the previous point. But this entire part, okay, of his, you know, enhancement was cut out from the movies. Point number 8, we have relationship with Hermione Granger. So in the books, Ron and Hermione's relationship was built up over years of like bickering, jealousy, and unspoken affection, sometimes enmity over the years, and that kind of binded up and like formed a really strong relationship with a very good base. But in the films, all these, you know, parts of building up were cut out. That made the relationship at the end look less satisfying, because the relationship was kind of more rushed up. Okay, it was like fast forward, right? The slow scenes, slow development was not shown at all. Okay, so that was not that bad. Point number 9, we have heroic achievements. Ron was a true hero with immense bravery and courage. He was a true Gryffindor, and he was a true lion. From winning in the Wizard's Chess and the Philosopher's Stone to destroying a Horcrux. From saving Harry Potter from a lake filled with icy water to standing up to the forces of Lord Voldemort. He showed immense bravery, capability, and chivalry. So all this showcased Ron's strong character, and the movies, they did show these scenes. They did show all his achievements, but they weren't as impactful as it was in the books. Okay, so overall, Ron Weasley was a true hero. In conclusion, we can say that book Ron is funny, loyal, brave, determined, insecure, and also deeply human and close to reality. But movie Ron was kind of reduced to a comic relief or a side character or a sidekick. But still, this version was also lovable and memorable thanks to Rupert Grint's portrayal of the character. This character is absolutely unforgettable. Both versions are unique and good, and both of them have their own dissimilarities and negative and positive points, but yet both versions are unique in their own ways.